What's going on, guys? It's Kyle from K Capital. It's about 6:42, June 13th, Monday. Beautiful day up in the Northeast. Beautiful day in the market. First and foremost, quick agenda. I want to go through the macro picture, kind of carry off of the update I put on the dashboard for members, along with the video from 6/6. Just to give you a general sense of what happened today, what's going to happen for the rest of the week in the Dow, SPX, Russell. Then I want to talk about our watch list, what we're currently in, or at least one of those positions, what happened to that today, and as well as one of the watch list stocks from this morning that we entered to the long side earlier, probably around 10:45 Eastern today. So with that. Excuse me. So the Dow Jones, looking at the technicals here today, daily chart, 6-month. Definitely bearish signals today, all over the board. Starting from the top, RSI 9, relative strength, right through the 50 midpoint. Very bearish. If you would just see that in a vacuum by itself, I wouldn't be too concerned. But when you take it in the aggregate with a few other things, it's definitely a very, very bad sign, at least in the short term. With that, right through the 50 in the Williams indicator, a 60-day time period, right through 50 there. And finally, last but not least, 13 exponential day moving average, right through that as well. I alluded to this in my most recent weekly newsletter to members that we kind of touched the 13 EMA Friday, started to test that. So a little bit of a support and a nice bounce, but we blew right through that today. The technicals are obviously going to be directly correlated to the macro picture, and across the board, volatility spiked today, the Brexit issue in Europe, the fact that Yellen is going to eventually make a comment about rates either this week or next, probably next. We're almost through earnings season, so there's just a lot of things, or gearing up for earnings season, I should say. There's a lot of things that I think in the macro environment are going to lead to a pullback in the overall market. That said, a lot of these indicators we just went through are pretty key in the sense that, in the short term, they're very, very good indications of what's going to happen in the market. My short-term prediction is we're going to test the 200-day moving average here at 17,377 in the next week. I think we trade all the way down, frankly, unless there is some, more insight into the U.S. interest rate situation that just surprises everyone over the next couple of days, but I don't see that happening. So that's the picture really in the Dow. The takeaway being, obviously, we're going to be very short-term focused and short in that short-term focus. So you're seeing the same thing in the S&P. Same indicators. Obviously, these trade basically in tandem now, which is very odd, but the charts look very similar. And you can see the same indicators are really signaling the same weakness. With that, the Russell. So the Russell is definitely trading a different pattern. More volatile for sure in terms of the peaks and valleys here. It's not as bearish, I should say, as the S&P and Dow in the sense that, we've already been tipping down in terms of the Williams and RSI indicators. One thing I would expect is that we're going to probably still test the 200-day moving average, but in terms of the percentage drop, I don't think it's going to be that large an impact in the Russell space, which is our bread and butter, so to speak. So with that, a few of the things we're definitely keeping an eye on are still obviously the overall indicators, just to get a sense of really the macro environment, and then obviously our watch list stocks, which one of the things that popped up last night that I alerted to our members, and you can probably see it right here, is a short in GBR. So one thing I wanted to actually wait for was a pop in the morning, and Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of last week, you saw huge moves in the first probably 45 minutes of trading, and then it's just a massive sell-off. And then I wanted that again today, and unfortunately pretty much got too greedy. Wanted a spike above 2.8 to 3 to short again. It just completely catapulted down. It opened at 2.5, went all the way down to 180. That said, I know some of our members did short this. So obviously 32% in a day is pretty huge. I'm not exactly sure where they got in at, but nonetheless, it's still a nice return. With that, I still think there's more downside. So any pop, I'll probably be shorting this for the rest of the week, with the initial target to be the 13 EMA at 135. So obviously 65 cents on that is a huge return. That's my initial target. If we go short, members will get the live text and email messages right when we go short. There's no lag, so there's no issues in terms of slippage, in terms of what price we get in at versus our members. So it's one thing that, if you're going to trade with us, you'll actually be trading right with us. We trade real money, no BS in terms of fake accounts or anything like that. So yeah, you'll see that obviously this was a short from last night. This is exactly what our members see, and they saw that last night. This hasn't been updated. You can see obviously the chart here is the same, June 10th. And obviously, 264, we saw great momentum downward from 4 all the way down at 264. And obviously you can see that you go to today, plug-in stopped working. That's never good. Can I get a refresh? Maybe not. What is going on? I swear I pay my internet bill, I promise. Alright, let me pause this real quick until we get this resolved. Give me a second. And we're back. Alright, sorry about that. So, back to what we were talking about. GBR, short alert on watch list as of Sunday, 6/12. Some of our members traded this. We did not, just because I got a little bit greedy and expected a pop to 3 where I wanted to short. So I missed that. That said, I still think there's more downside here, so it's something I'm going to be keeping a close eye on tomorrow, June 14th. Another position that we actually got in today is one of 4 positions that we're in. I will not be going over the other 3 because I can't give everything away for free. Is SYRG. So right now this is setting up pretty for a test of the 200-day moving average. This popped off in our indicators, or scans I should say, last night. Just a little background on those scans. We run these specific algos more or less every night. There's a few to the long side and there's a few to the short side. This popped up on one of those and we watched it in the morning and obviously just went long right around, I think, 678, I think. So seeing some nice upside here so far. I think this definitely tests at a minimum 8 in the short term. So, something I'm excited about here. This looks like I have been staying away from energy as much as possible. But, with that, I think it's something that I think could test 8 for a nice 20% return. So, with that, just to recap, overall macro picture is very bearish. The technicals in the 3 major U.S. indices suck. In the short term, I think they're going to definitely fall back and test their 200-day moving averages. With that, there are both some very nice shorts we're looking at as well as our long portfolio. And again, we're really looking for 20-25% returns in a couple days to 2 weeks max is our strategy, with the caveat being that our risk mitigation is really the key to our success, which we teach very specifically to our members. So if you're interested in making some side money or trading money or any money for that matter whatsoever, regardless of what your goal is, check us out. Use the code MONEY for 25% off. And we're unfortunately going to be, well, I guess it depends how you look at it, we're going to be switching to a quarterly plan away from monthly. So that's going to be actually taking effect probably this Friday, probably the 19th. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. And if you want to join our mailing list, please do. You'll get free weekly updates and some stock tips and trading lessons, every week as a free newsletter member. So with that, have a great night, and we will talk to you guys tomorrow.